Hello, welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to follow my journey to review all 1000 classic Looney Tunes shorts and give this video a like as well. So this is a review for Porky's Last Stand, released in 1940. It's the 271st in the series and it's directed by Bob Clampett. You can find this on the Porky Pig 101 DVD set in a reasonable state. I've personally upscaled the image to HD approximately, so it looks a little better, but hopefully they'll do a full-fledged restoration at some point. Now, I can't show you the full cartoon here due to copyright on YouTube, but essentially, Porky runs a, food stand, and he has Daffy as an assistant. Daffy's serving a customer. He's out of hamburgers, so he tries to, make some, and, you got some shenanigans happening. So, it's very straightforward. There's not much to it, but it's still a fun short, which I'll be discussing as we go along. So first up, you're going to see a re-edit of the original audio commentary I did before I had to take it down due to a request by Warner Brothers Legal. So my good friend Blue Genocide, he not only re-edited the original audio commentary, but he also edited this whole video for me. So once the commentary is done, you'll hear some new thoughts from me, and then you'll hear some thoughts from my good friend Huey Nelson. So grab some popcorn and enjoy.
Ah dear, our fried chicken has that real foul taste. We're definitely starting pretty well, along with the song that's been played, which is "Start the Day Right," which is also played at the very end of the cartoon. It's a nice little song. Quite like it actually. And look who's back. We have Daffy Duck with his design that was part of Wisecracks, with that, I suppose you'd call it brown around the top. But the Daffy variation of with plenty of money and you, and sings it of course as plenty of gravy on you. And a similar joke was in the Melodies cartoon called Plenty of Money and You, which was a weird title because it had nothing to do with it in the cartoon itself. But now this person demanding a hamburger, I've been told, is Robert Bruce, who's doing a rare character role instead of doing the usual narrator role he would do over on Tex Avery's cartoons. Now that board there, the Sheridan salad is referencing actress Anne Sheridan, and oomph is referring to what Sheridan said, which was a certain undefinable something that commands male interest. And there's Greetings Gate, which once again is a Jerry Colonna reference. In one of the earlier Daffy shorts, you had this Native American character saying, "Greetings, Gabe, let's scalpitate." But yeah, there you go. But look at the animation of the bull, like it, just, wow. Just absolutely amazing acting, really. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Now the part with here that Porky's grabbing onto the tree branch, I've been told is Vivi Risto. And look at the heartbeat there. Oh dear, so glad I can see this one, and I'm so glad I get to see a lot of these wacky ones mixed up with the early Chuck Jones efforts, which are, of course, a lot more slower and Disney-esque at this point in time. Getting a nice, good variation.
So those are my original thoughts. So to start off with, there is some reused animation. That whole sequence with Daffy holding a mallet, going after that calf and eventually encountering that bull, that's lifted from the Daffy Doc, where he's basically following Porky to, do the same thing. So there are a few references I did miss last time, and there are a few things that I guess I want to elaborate further. I would have mentioned in the commentary track, I believe, the title of Porky's Last Stand is a reference to Custer's Last Stand, aka it's the Battle of Bighorn, and that resulted in the defeat of the US Army by many Native American tribes banding together. So it's fascinating, and I'm not going to get into the history of that here, but it's definitely something worth reading about if you have time. Later on, we see Daffy saying, "Hey Ferdinand," and that appears to be a reference to Ferdinand the Bull, which was a story that was eventually adapted by Disney in a wonderful 1938 short film, which, weirdly enough, wasn't a silly symphony. I don't know why it wasn't, but it was, I guess, they decided to go ahead and just do one-shots from that point. Yeah, I don't know why they stopped using the name Silly Symphony, but yeah, anyway, that's, of course, another topic altogether. So you see the whole message with Greetings Gate. That's a reference to Jerry Colonna, where he would say, Greetings Gate, and You know, I've got to say the mice have some pretty nice handwriting, though. But Clampett used the whole greetings game in a lot of different shorts around this time, and, well, this is no exception. I mean, it's not actually said, but, you know, the audience at the time would have known that reference. Another thing that would have been completely lost to people today is the sign saying the Sheridan salad with plenty of oomph, no dressing. Now, that's a reference to Anne Sheridan, and she was an actress, and by this point she was known as the oomph girl, meaning, you know, she had a certain something that made her desirable to all men, and I'm sure women as well, around that point. But she would actually receive so many marriage requests constantly, and she really didn't like being called that initially, but apparently she accepted it. But that's what it's referencing to, that, yeah, Anne Sheridan was known as the oomph girl. The no dressing part, well, I'll let you figure out what that means, of course. And what I like here are a few very clever styling cues. I mean, he does a lot of clever cues throughout Looney Tunes, but I love how in this one, where Daffy is serving the customer, and of course the music cue is, well, I'd like to take orders from you. Yeah. Haha, right? And, you know, and I should say that customer's pretty much me with the whole, you know, I want a good hamburger and I want it bad. You know, I love my hamburgers, of course. Another cue is, with plenty of money in you, is when Daffy actually sees a calf to, you know, kill for hamburger meat. But now, here is my good friend Huey Nelson to discuss his thoughts on this short.
Hello, this is Huey, and I'm glad to be back discussing Porky's Last Stand. You could still see the Porky burnout in Clampett. However, you could tell he has more fun kind of working with Daffy than he does Porky. And when it comes to Daffy Duck, Clampett never has a bad Daffy Duck cartoon. I don't think anyone has ever sat through Daffy Duck short directed by Clampett and said, oh, this was bad. Oh, I don't really like this one, or really heavily criticize the Daffy Duck short directed by Clampett. Because Daffy Duck is where Clampett really shines the most. Also, I think this is the last time we're going to see this design, this alternate Clampett design of Daffy with the zigzag around his neck as well as the shades around his eyes. Also to add, there's not a gag that I didn't like in this short. You'll notice the trademark Warner Brothers sheepish grin that Daffy pulls after he pulls out the dangerous bull, thinking it was the baby calf that he pulls out after. You'll actually see this same facial expression throughout the 40s Warner Brothers cartoons. Overall, being the new cartoon of the decade, I think this was Clampett's better of the Porkies, but I do recommend for people to actually watch Porky's Last Stand. It's a decent short.
Thanks, Huey. So, yeah, just to wrap this up, look, I find it interesting that Daffy wasn't used, really, by Clampett in 39, when the team-up of Porky and Daffy in 1938 was so good. You know, there was some absolute classic shorts, including, of course, Porky and Daffy, among other things, but it's nice to see Daffy back. And as far as I'm concerned, this short is effectively a Daffy short. I mean, of course, it's a Porky short officially to appease, you know, Leon Schlesinger, but in this case, given that Daffy was mostly the focus anyway, it's effectively a Daffy short, at least in my book. But I see that this short is the beginning of a turning point for Clampett, because in 39 he seemed to be in a little bit of a rut. Like, that's not to say all the shorts were bad, they all at least had something good about them, but they didn't feel as fresh as a lot of the shorts he did in 1938. So he did go into a little bit of a slump in 39, where he made either ordinary or slightly above average shorts. So from this point on, you know, he continues making some Porkies, and of course, yeah, he finally gets to do some color shorts, and then eventually he'll take over the Tex Avery unit, where he really goes to town. So, as for this short, look, there's nothing groundbreaking, but I tell you, the animation's great in this one. I laughed quite a few times, you know, and I just love the Wacky Daffy, especially with the design of the brown eyes, as Huey would have mentioned. Look, it's 7 out of 10. Yeah. Not really too much to say aside from the references and the fact that this is definitely a short that's at least that little bit better than the ones he was producing mostly in 1939. So that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care.